This conference will now be recorded.
Venkat, you can hear me, right? One minute, okay, let me check. Venkat, at least you can hear us, right? You can ping in the chat.
He just muted, maybe.
Yeah.
He mentioned that he can hear us.
Yeah. Okay, Prakash, then you can start at least, okay? Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Naveen. Hi, Manoj. Hi, Ramana. Like, this is Prakash. I do have 12 plus years of experience into SAP basis and more than 6 plus 6 experience in BTP stuff. So I handle multiple projects and basis like implementation, support, migrations, upgrade projects, and BTP as well. I worked on a couple of projects and worked on Neo platform as well as on the latest Cloud Foundry I'm working on. I also worked on migration from Neo to Cloud Foundry. Yeah, I worked on cloud setup from scratch on the BTP environment. So this is about my experience. And yeah, so Manoj, I got to know Manoj is from security background and GRC. Ramana, could you type what kind of expertise you have or what's your background in SAP?
Prakash, are you able to present the screen, Prakash?
No, I'm present. I'm just waiting, asking for Ramana's expertise, like what's his background.
Okay. Ramya, can you ping in the chat, Venkatarama? What's your background?
Okay, no issues. I'll get it started. I'm good to start.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So on this, so any idea on BTP? Like, have you worked on it, Manoj? Like, are you new to it? So
I'm
what sort
complete. I'm completely new to this BTP, Prakash. I recently heard of it. So
of?
yeah, I'm completely new to this one.
Okay. So, I'll just give you like not kind of, theoretical kind of, I'll just give you with a practical and simple way to help you understand on this one. Okay. So BTP is something like the business technology platform. SAP has this from long, long ago. Okay. It's not something which is new. We have it with different namings in the past. Okay. Like we have like SAP Cloud Platform, I mean, HANA Cloud Platform on it in the beginning. And you know if they are on the same naming, and they will get faded out. Okay, so they keep on adding a new technologies into it, and they keep on changing the names like in every 1 or 2 years. And then they from past 5 years we have this naming like business technology platform, and they started segregating, and they brought a lot of new innovations in under the same tree. Okay, so I just want to just briefing out like this. I mean, we'll be covering all these topics as a part of this training, but in this training we'll be just giving you overall overview of what is this and what all we'll be covering under this training. So,
Okay.
business technology platform is something which, as I said, like we have development, we have integrations, we have database management, we have the new technologies like AML. So everything they are bringing under the same tree, and which can be used for multiple functionalities, and they can integrate to on-premise environments or different cloud solutions, or even to SAP HANA Cloud or SAC, etc. So they want everything to be under the same tree, and different technologies can be used to build up the solutions for the clients.
So one question. So we no longer we don't need this SAP GUI and everything. If
No,
this
no,
is
no, for this we don't need it. Okay.
no, I mean in future will SAP remove that SAP login pad, that SAP GUI and everything, and will they combine it into this BTP, or that SAP login pad and this BTP is completely different?
Both are completely different. Whatever SAP login pad we have, that is only for the on-premise environments that you're accessing. But BTP is completely cloud-based. I mean URL based. So you no longer. If you're specifically accessing the BTP applications, you can access it directly from the browser, from anywhere. Okay. So again, there are a lot of secure layers, but you don't need GUI for accessing the applications on BTP.
So one question. So is BTP same as like in S4? I mean, in login pad we have ECC or S4 or BI, CRM, and also this is kind of one particular system. BTP is a different system on cloud. Is that what you're saying?
No, BTP itself is a cloud. Okay, business technology platform itself is a naming cloud. If you go to this URL, if you go there, you can create multiple tenants, or you can create multiple sub accounts in which you have different layers. Like you have SAP HANA Cloud. The database is completely managed by SAP itself, and you can also deploy your applications on top of it. Okay. And I mean that applications can be HTML5 applications, Java applications, or any other one. Okay, what are all supported by them, you can drop them. But you won't be having SAP GUI on top of this BTP. Okay, you can have SAP HANA Cloud. Again, that's a complete SaaS application which is, managed by SAP, and that you can integrate with the applications for getting the data, or if you want to utilize any data from that, you can use it. Okay, I worked in some of the projects where we have the applications on BTP, and also we have the S4 environment or other legacy environments on-premise. So they want to utilize that data. Okay, that data. So that integrations we have it through the cloud connectors to get the data. So for your question, for you to access any SAP applications, that you have to access via the SAP logon pad. But BTP is something which you cannot access from the GUI. You have to access only via the browser to the
Oh,
internet.
okay. So, but the integration happens via the database, not directly from the on-premise systems, but through HANA database, it will be integrated, right? Or
No, no,
directly.
no. That's what I'll show up in coming sessions. But
Okay. Okay.
for to access any of the on-premise environment, you have to access only via the cloud connector. Okay, something called cloud connector, which will be installed in the on-premise environments. It's not just the SAP applications. Even if you want to access any of legacy which is on AWS or any other third party, you have to access through the cloud connector.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that we can discuss. Okay, we have a lot of slides lined up. So it's just a platform. It's just a naming. Okay, where we have everything under the same bucket. Okay, you can just remember in that way. And we are not concerned about the development things. As a basis admin or the security admin, you are moreover dealing on the security roles and set up those things. Okay, and from basis or the BTP admin, you are moreover working on setting up the initial environment right from scratch.
To disturb you, are you on the same initial screen, or are you moving to content?
No, I'm just on the same screen. I'll just move on.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just setting the expectation on what are the roles for security or basis. Okay, so
Okay.
Is it for basis? You are responsible from setting up the environment right from scratch. Like you are in procuring the account, the BTP account, and from there, what are all the requirements you got it from your application or functional teams, you will be working on those things. Okay.
Okay.
And that's what here just given the moreover highlights like what are all involved, like application development, automation, integrations, data and analytics, and AI. So everything whatever new and what are all existing and what are all we have in a project, so everything can be done under the same tree, as I said. So that's what the BTP and SAP brought, a single platform. Okay, under it, like we have these all what are all mentioned under each segment. We can say it here. I mean, these things we can actually look upon in the training sessions. I mean, moreover, from the administration point of view, we'll not be dealing with everything like development of those things, but whatever mentioned here, everything is under the BTP platform.
So here,
And
what all the steps that are done by basis and security team, those will be discussed in the sessions. I mean, in the training sessions, or is
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
just the security part only, the roles authorization part only will be
No, no.
discussed, or the admin
We
part?
will be discussing on everything. What are all the roles and responsibilities as a basis of BTP admin and as well as the security admin.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I said, we have multiple environments on the cloud BTP as well. Okay, like earlier they have something called they can launch the applications only on Neo platform. They used to say as Neo environment, and now there are multiple environments which we got like Cloud Foundry environment or Kaima environment or ABAP runtime. These are all they call it as runtimes as well. Okay. Now, we are not going to discuss more on Neo environment because Neo platform is something which is going to retire by 2028. Uh, so everything, what are all the applications or everything they have? I mean, what are the projects they have it? They're already suggested to migrate it to the Cloud Foundry or the other environments. Okay, so as these are all on cloud based, again, as they're on cloud based, right? So everything has a shared responsibility, or few of them are in responsibility of the SAP, which are managed by SAP, and some of them are managed by the customers. So it's like a shared responsibility. So whatever you have, everything here is on the service based. Okay, like if, for example, if you take a switchboard in your house, everything comes up with that, and you have to just switch it on. If you switch it on, the fan will be switched on. If you switch to another one, the light will be switched on. Likewise, in BTP, everything comes up with a package. Okay, you have to enable few things in that specific tenant or sub account, and then that can be used. Okay, so once you enable a service, then as um, everything is linked with one account. Okay, so based on the usage, you'll be getting the charge, right. So if for example, just take a as your flat. Okay, you have the meter is kind of account, you can say, and that has connections to all the rooms. Okay, every room might be used for different service. One can be for bedroom, one can be for bathroom, one can be for kitchen. In the same way, you can just check the meter of the house as the main account, and you have different services being used. One service is for SAP HANA Cloud. For to have the database to be used for your project, you have to enable the database service. And for other, like for an application, you have to enable some application. Like if there is something called a cockpit or build service, which is used for development, so you have to enable that service. If you want to transport things from development to quality or other environments, you have a different service called cloud transport management, so you have to enable that service. So based on the usage of the requirement, or based on the requirement in your project, you have to enable those services. Only if you enable, then based on that enabling, they will be having the charge. Okay, so as I said, the account management, those all things are your responsibility. SAP will not be managing that. If you enable, then the charge will be, I mean, they will charge it on based on the usage of the usage or enablement of the service in your account. So again, creation of the services once you are enabled, and all those things are under customers responsibility. And anything, okay, once you enable the service, and the service, if the service is managed by SAP, the infra, okay, the infra is completely managed by SAP. If there is a performance issue of the SAP HANA cloud of the database, then it's completely responsible by SAP. We have to work with SAP on why the slowness is. Okay. That's what hardware setup or operating system management or infrastructure, everything is managed by them. Even I think they have the DR facility and everything, so everything managed by them. So we are not going to worry about the infrastructure part or performance part. But if some of the custom applications, if you're working on, if you're creating, then you are responsible for that. And in the initial setup or application setup, it's our responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, there is a standard guidelines which are provided by SAP in each and every part. So you can also find the documentations on the SAP help.sap.com as well. So there are some guidance frameworks for uh, different skilled persons who are working on their respective technologies. So
One question, Prakash. So,
mhm.
how is the business going to be benefited using this BTP? Like, how does business use this BTP platform? Can you explain that?
No, that is what I'm saying. They are giving a solution where they are having everything under the same bucket. Okay, if you are using I mean, we can have like even on AWS you have services, even on Azure you have different services. Like for analytics you have the services, for administration, for everything you have. So it's the same SAP. Within SAP, as of now we have everything on premise. Okay, we have to have different applications. So on the cloud they're bringing everything under the same bucket on complete, I would say, like for DevOps kind of, like you can do the development and administration and operations. Okay, so they're bringing everything into one bucket along with the latest automations or artificial intelligence or machine learning, etc., etc. So they want to bring everything under the same bucket so that it will be I mean, everyone can have it under the same place and develop the things. So that's one thing which they are promoting in that way. And with as everything under the same bucket, they are giving some I'm not very much into that licensing part and those things, but there will be some discounts and some charge benefits.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on these guidelines and everything, which are standard ones which we can follow, and we can get it started. Okay, this is just moreover on the how in the initial startup of the project that you should have the account, whether it's a, if you're doing a, some we have something called like free tier or the standard. So you have to go with the standard like enterprise account for the actual projects or actual customer. And there are some process of what you have to enable the services, and before that you have to enable like what is the exact requirement, whether you're going to have like have the applications which are um, I mean infrastructure. I mean, you'll not be having the infrastructure, or whether you had going to have the integrations with SAP HANA Cloud, or you're going to have the SAP Cloud Foundry applications kind of. So based on the requirements from the application team or the functional teams, based on that, moreover on the application or the architect, so you have to enable those services. You have to choose what is required for that project to start, and you have to get it started. I mean, these are all initial setup steps, like what settings you have to have once the global account is created. So basically, every customer can have multiple accounts. Okay, so one can be the major account, which is an enterprise account. Under that enterprise account, you have to create some multiple tenants, or we call it the systems. We can have multiple tenants, or we can have a single tenant as well. Under the single tenant, again, you can categorize with something called spaces. That's how the concept comes in. So, I mean, it's again based on the requirement how you want to have those applications being used in your project. I mean, that we are going to discuss in the training sessions. But as I said, we have to have the global account first, and then we should enable some of the entitlements based on the services that you are going to use in your projects, and you have to enable them. So under the global accounts, for example, we have one system. Okay, I mean, we have one system called transportation management. Okay, the transportation management, again, we have 5 system landscape. Like in the production, we have production landscape, we have 3 systems, and project landscape, we have 2 systems, like n and n plus 1. So we got a requirement that we should have individual system for development, one for quality, one for production, and again in the project dev and project quality. So we have 5 different sub accounts. Okay, but I can also say, like, we don't want that many sub accounts. We can have only one sub account, and inside the sub account, we can categorize. We can have multiple spaces created, and we can use it. But so under the global account, as I said, 5 different systems. Okay, those 5 systems you can categorize as one directory. Okay, and in that directory you will see those 5 sub accounts. Because if you have here, I'm talking about only one system which is a 5 system landscape. If you have, I mean, sorry, 5 one environment of 5 system landscape. If you have multiple environments, like for example, Manoj, you're working on as a security person. So on premise, we have ECC landscape, we have BW, we have SRM, CRM, etc., etc. If you're assuming those systems on the cloud, okay, you can have all GRC under one directory, all ECC under one directory, all BW under one directory. And if you drill down to the directory, again, you can see multiple sub accounts which were defined for that landscape. If on GRC, if you have 5 system, it will show 5 system. If it is 3, it will show 3. So we can do that categorization. Okay, and again here
So
global account.
one question. So when you mean to say, what you mean to say while clubbing all the systems is all the prod, QA, development stage systems, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you can categorize. That's what you can categorize based on the environment. Okay, whether it's a
Okay.
production dev, production quality, or you can categorize based on the functionality of the system. It's up to you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
how
Okay.
you want to see. And I mean, coming to one infra part, uh, when you are creating a sub account, SAP also gives you a leverage, like where you want to host your accounts, host your sub accounts. Like earlier we used to have Neo, even we have Neo now, which is going to sunset in 2028. That is something which you can host the applications only on SAP hosting reasons, like SAP own data center. But whereas the Cloud Foundry is something got launched 4 years ago, where SAP has leveraged, like that they have extended the hosting agents to host on Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud, along with the SAP's data centers. Because by having that, based on SAP's data centers are leveraged to have in some specific reasons. But whereas AWS, Azure, they are like well versed across the world. So based on the customers' availability and customers' requirement, where they want to have the accessibility and network speed, and considering all those things, we can choose the reason and you can host your applications. So that's why they clubbed with multiple clouds.
Okay.
Yeah, this is how it shows. Okay, here they have, this is a global account. Under global account, they created so 2 directories, kind of. Again, they have the directory here, and under directory they can see the sub account.
So are you sharing anything, or is it the initial screen that you're sharing right now?
No, I'm sharing my screen. Are you not seeing the latest one?
No, okay, now it got changed. I mean, were you sharing the previous screens as well? I mean,
Yeah,
previous
yeah,
aspect also?
yeah. Can you
No.
see now?
Okay, now I see the 10th or 11th slide, I guess. 13th one. Yeah, 13th one I'm seeing now.
Okay, I'm on 13th. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, I mean, these are all the initial steps, Manoj, like when you create the sub account and what all things you have to show up here. Okay, yeah, these screens, I think these are all from Neo, but yeah, I will just in the actual trainings we can club the actual Cloud Foundry environments, which we have it right now.
Okay.
These are all initial setup uh, screens. Yeah, this is the Cloud Foundry one. So once you set up the environments for to use, once you have the accounts created and the sub accounts created, as I said, we have to enable the entitlements. Entitlements is something like, again, we have different plans. Okay, for example, if you want to use some service, again they have different plans in it. It's a free plan or standard plan, or again some extreme. They have some different plans as well. So based on your usage, you have and based on what is the exact requirement of the application, so you have to choose the plan. And once, I mean, the plan is the entitlement. Once you enable that entitlement with the required plan, then itself you can create the service. Okay, so it's like step by step. You have to enable the entitlement with the required plan, and then you can create a service for that entitlement. So that for to enable the entitlement, you have to go to this entitlements tab, and you have to here. Okay, go to entitlements, and here you can see what are all the services, I mean, plans you want to select, and you have to just enable them. Once you enable the entitlements, you can go to the instance and subscriptions, and you can create the services. I'll show up that in the upcoming sessions. Yeah, here you can see entitlements, and we have selected one plan. It shows standard application, standard plan for build work zone entitlement. So based on the requirement, you have to enable them. Yeah, and coming to your security part, right? I mean, just want to give you one point here.
Did you move the slide, Prakash?
Yeah, I moved it.
Which slide are you on? I'm seeing 13th one.
Oh, I'm on 22.
Oh, okay.
Can you see
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, it is in 22nd. Yeah. Yep.
Is it moving now?
Yes.
Okay, I will just go with shorter one. Okay. So, Manoj, one thing here, here on BTP, one thing which I observed, it's also similar to the on-premise. Based on the component you have, you'll be having the standard roles enabled in the system. So here as well on the BTP, based on the service that you enable, okay, when the entitlement that you enable and the service that you create in the sub account, that roles related to that specific service will be enabled in that sub account. Okay, only like the display roles or the change roles, all those roles will be enabled, and based on that itself you can create your custom roles along based on the standard roles that you got, and you can assign it to the users. Okay, and there is also some concept called the role collections. Apart from roles, there is something called role collections. For an application, you can have multiple roles and also a collection of the roles. They give it as a role collection. Either you can assign the role collection to the user so that he will be able to access multiple things with that role collection, or you can limit their access by assigning only the roles. But here, as I said, the roles or the role collections specific to that service will be available only if that service is created or you are entitled to that service. If not, you can't see that in the tenant. Even if you have file system landscape, if you have enabled only in development and quality, you can see those roles only in development and quality. If you are not enabled in the further environments, you can't see that in the further one. So wherever you are enabled, you can see those. I mean, wherever you have created the service for the entitlement you have enabled, you can see the roles only over there. That part we'll discuss in detail. Yeah, as I said before, these are all different runtimes that we have. Like the Cloud Foundry, Neo was not mentioned here. Neo is something which is going to retire. And these are Kaima or Kubernetes, and we have ABAP runtime. So, based on the usage, like Kaima is an environment which is similar to Cloud Foundry, but this is something which is needed or required only for the applications which are developed based on serverless architecture, like Kubernetes or containers. So when any of the requirement you got it to have such kind of applications to be built, then Kaima environment is something which is preferred on on BTP. Okay, if you are going for HTML5 applications or Java applications or any of AML kind of, then you are okay to have the Cloud Foundry. And if you want to have, I mean, even for any open source, you can go for Kaima. But this is on moreover on the development side and nothing to deal with administration. Because, I mean, on the initial taking the decision on which environment should be chosen for the project. Okay. ABAP environment is basically needed if you're working on ABAP codings or if you're integrating to SAP HANA Cloud, then you will need this ABAP runtime as well. If you're not using any SAP HANA Cloud integration, then I don't think this runtime is needed. Because if you're using, I mean, it's like you're using the ABAP coding for development of the applications, then you should have this. Again, as I said, admins or we work with the decision taken by the developers. Yeah. Here you can see here the different environment, the Cloud Foundry environment, and then here the Kaima environment, and here the ABAP environments. So these are all the same. Within the same sub account, you can have this, and based on the requirement, you can enable them. And I mean, based on the applications that the project they are going to build, and based on the requirements. And here they mention like how to enable the cloud. These are all initial steps. As I said, when you create a sub account, you have to enable the environment, the Cloud Foundry, and you should create entitlements and the spaces as well. I mean, this we can discuss in further sessions on in the priority based on how, I mean, what are all the steps you have to do right from creating the sub account from scratch. Yeah, this already I mentioned, like how to create the service or service instance once you have the service and I mean needed service enabled with the standard plans. Yeah, here they mention, I mean, here you can see all the different dashboards based on the runtimes you have, like the Kaima dashboard, where it shows all the monitoring health and the other statistics. Any questions, Manoj or Venkat? I mean, these are all, I mean, I can give you more information in the coming sessions, but right now it's not that needed.
Yep, I have few questions, but I think maybe in the coming slides and all, I think you might be explaining that. Yeah, as of now, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, this is moreover, I want to set an expectation like what all will be covered and what all I can ensure as a part of this training throughout the training. Okay, so as a part of this training, as an administration and security part, I can assure that you will be able to create a project from scratch. Okay, right from you got a requirement from your architect or an developers, like what you have to do it from the scratch in setting up the environment. Okay, that, and right from that, like there are multiple steps involved and multiple challenges you will be facing in setting up everything, setting up all the needed services, because this includes, as I said, first step you have to enable all the required things, like you should set up the environment, first thing. Second, you have to work on gathering all the services to be enabled or services to be created. So based on that, you have to enable the entitlements, and then you have to create the services or instances. Okay, and third part, security part. So even once you create the service, you should have the roles enabled, and you should have the roles assigned to the users. So you should find out all the roles and you have to assign so that you can do anything on the services. And on the integrations, for to access any of the applications from on premises, you have to create some destinations in the BTP level. Even for destinations, again you have to have the cloud connectors created and connected, and connect the sub accounts in the cloud connectors. I mean, it's like registering the sub accounts in the cloud connectors, and you have to create the connections to on-premise environments in the cloud connectors, so that you should be able to access it from the BTP. Okay, there is also something called as a build service cockpit, where you can see the applications, Fury applications as well over there, and that uses some concept called principal propagation that I'm going to explain and give you full clarity on that. And I will also make sure that you have an idea on SAP HANA Cloud, what all steps you have to do for the upgrade of the SAP HANA Cloud, or for taking the snapshot, for doing the monitoring, for running any of the SQL queries, or doing any performance related issues, or dealing with any performance related issues, or any other partitions, requirements, etc. And also on cloud transport management. How can you transport the things from one application to another application, or from one environment to another one? And also on integrations, I can assure that you will be having good idea on the CPI. Okay, from basic standpoint, what are all things you will be doing on the cloud process integration, CPI, and what are all live flows that you can monitor, and what are all integrations that you have it on the CPI, and how can you set up those things, and what are all issues you can troubleshoot. And also I can assure that on the integration part of BTP HANA Cloud with the SAP Analytics Cloud. And also on the security part, as I said, security part is something which we have at multiple layers. At the BTP level, you have the security, and also on the space levels, you have the security, and also on the SAP HANA Cloud, you have the security. So I will make sure that you have good, thorough knowledge on that. And yeah, we also have like CI/CD setup. That is like that for the developers. They can develop their code on GitHub, and they can integrate or bring that code from GitHub to the these development instances. So there is a separate service called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development. Using that, they will be deploying that code into the development instances, and they'll move it to other environments through the cloud transport management. So we are not well versed on deploying that code, but as a basis admin or the BTP admin, we will be working on how that integration or connectivities are done. And yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. We should be well versed with the DevOps thing like on initial setup and also on the operations what we have to do. Yeah, and also the trust configuration, which is also part of the security setup, like users to log in with SSO. Okay, those things also I can make you guys assure. Learn on these things. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions, Manoj or Venkat?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Like if you have any questions or something, you can reach out and we are good.
Sure.
Naveen, I think we are good on the initial session.
Hey, yeah, Prakash, we are good. Okay. Manoj, do you have any queries?
No, no, Naveen.
Oh, fine. Okay. I'll check with Venkat also. If any queries, I'll keep a conference in the phone. Prakash, okay.
Okay.
Thanks for the demo.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.